Yes, my name is Lukmani Idrisu. I currently study Masters in Strategic Business Development at the University of Vasa. When I arrived in Finland in 6 years ago, my focus was to get the best grade as possible when I was in school. So my focus was only school, 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 and I couldn't make time outside schooling hours to network. And owing to this, I didn't get the real information on the ground as to how to land job in Finland, and this affected my job acquiring possibilities after graduation. And I had to learn the hard way to get, I mean, my 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 dreams or goals realized, or to get my career realized in Finland. Therefore, I wouldn't love that fellow students commit the same mistake that I did a few years ago when I was studying my bachelor's. So that is why I am so happy to touch on this, so that my experience will serve as a lesson to fellow students. And there's this famous quote from Fact on Twitter, which says that a high GPA looks good on paper, but networking and building friendships is what gets you a job. So in this instance, networking and building relationship is what gets you job, and that is the story here in Finland. You may not hear this from your teachers in class, but when you go outside from school, this is where the real business is, and that is where and when you hear the real stories and the real information. The last time we spoke about networking, but this time around I'll delve deeper as to how to strategically network and build effective relationship with industry players here in Finland. And there is one there are certain things we must consider. The first thing to consider in your journey to network is to really learn about the culture of the people you want to network with, because this gives you an idea of who they are, their response to stimuli, and how you can easily approach them to get your message heard and to interact with them. Therefore, I encourage that as students, try your possible best to like have interest or desire to learn the Finnish culture and language. And you don't have to be a perfect speaker or a very good speaker, but the moment you show interest by even saying mina olen with your name, it's better. And the more you do that, trust me, it's human nature. If you try to speak someone's language, the person feel inclined to help. That's how it is sometimes. And especially since Finnish is a very difficult language, one of my teacher in 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 at VAMC, when I was studying at VAMC, once said that Finnish is the third most difficult language in the world, according to her. That is what she said. Therefore, they also know that Finns know their language is difficult. So if you try to show interest in their language, they become more open to you, and they believe they have certain commonality with you to speak to you. So even if you don't speak the Finnish but show interest, they begin to speak English with you and mix it with Finnish, and you can learn more. And secondly, the most important thing, add networking event to your academic schedule. Make sure you go like if you find time outside schooling hours to network, and then also participate in volunteering activities or extracurricular activities like sports and so on, because it is through these kind of programs or activities where you meet managers or like kind of relevant people in certain key positions in the labor market or industry, and playing or maybe kind of interacting with them there can have that kind of opportunity. You cannot get that kind of opportunity to interact with them, and then they get to know who you really are. Sometimes the soft skills is very important. Get to know who you really are, and then you don't know, you can build something from there. And again, participating in challenge and competition, like what some of the kind of bigger companies, or maybe more the the multinationals or maybe these kind of international companies tend to organize, especially like Vartila has this what we call the Smart Hub Challenge or Smart Hub competition, or this slash and other kind of hackathon programs. If you are able to participate in these programs to exhibit your talent, it's you easily get noticed, since these are platforms where you meet industry players who are at key decision areas. And the last two is building a strong online presence and then connecting with relevant people on LinkedIn. And these are very crucial. And I will talk about the last. I'll delve more into the last two so that you could use that. You could leverage on that to, I mean, get your goals realized. So let me just put you on the spot. This is a case study. You are the hiring manager here, and then you've opened a marketing manager role, and then a lot like two people have applied. You have two people you are trying to consider. Both have extensive experience. One is Johanna. When you, after looking at her profile, you realize you wanted to dig deeper to know who she really is, and then through that you went to search. You further dig deep to search online to see who she really is. However, she had no kind of no or limited online presence. And then the second one, which is Heidi, she has a solid online presence, and then try to more or less talk about or write about her opinions as an expert. And she has also kind of built a very good rapport to the extent that someone has even recommended her and what she can do to you. In this instance, who will you hire? I just want to see in the comment box that between Johanna and Heidi, if you're a hiring manager, who will you hire? Just kind of, I just want to see your comment. Write the name of the person you would like to hire and type at least a short reason why. Why would you hire A or B, a Johanna or Heidi? The name and the reason.
So I can tell what people are typing in the chat.
Okay.
So everyone is saying Heidi for different reasons.
Okay.
Aaron says that just because he has more information about her. Kunal said that referrer. Saha that proactive. Erica that she knows how to brand herself, which is relevant for marketing. Saba says that because her personality is more expressing and motivating.
Good. Thanks so much for your answers. Then if all of you have these answers, then I believe we don't have a problem. So why do I share this?
Just a very quick comment.
Okay.
Someone else said that they would consider Heidi because they know her already. Another said Johanna if her CV looks better and the interview goes well. Victoria said both of them if Johanna is a good expert but just don't prefer to be there online. So that's it. Yeah.
Okay.
You can continue.
Good. Now that we have given our opinions, then I believe that we wouldn't have problems with the ongoing like subsequent slides. Why I am sharing this is most of us are like Johanna, right? You know, almost I think 90% have chosen Heidi that they would hire her, and they've given tangible reasons which are true. Most of us are like Johanna. We wait until after graduation before we start building our brand. The reason why like we get little responses in in applying for jobs are that, remember that a lot of people apply and they try to stand out, and for you to stand out to do you need to put certain mechanisms to make it possible. And these are these can be done by trying to network with relevant people at the places you would love to work. For people want to hire those they trust in advance. And when you do that, you even make the hirer or the hiring manager's job easier for him or her, or you already have the skills and experience, and then if you introduce yourself in advance to them, just like someone has said, proactive, and if you've also like shown to the world what you can do, it makes it easier for you to be hired. So here you waste no one's time and no one also wastes your time. And remember, now that COVID-19, now that we are in an era of pandemic, we have a lot of people who are applying for a job. One job role can acquire or attract, sorry, can attract like hundreds and hundreds of people. So how can you stand out? That is why I want us to talk about networking and building brand, and and having a personal brand. So to to define what personal branding is, whenever we say brand, I believe something comes to your mind. Your mind goes to a company. Why? Because maybe because of the company's products, maybe because of the company's logo, or maybe because you've heard about people talking about that particular company for a particular value they have added to the community or the world in essence. So same applies to uh, you as a person, as an individual. That is why there is this famous quote by Amazon's boss saying that your brand is what people say about you when you are not in the room. And it's true. And I define it as telling the world who you are, what you can do, and what you are looking for, and or selling your unique self to the world. That is what personal branding is. And why do you need it? You use that to differentiate yourself from competition, just like the case between Johanna and Heidi. Because Heidi tried to differentiate herself because we all have the same kind of expertise, but she went on to kind of build, you know, trust with prospective clients. So she's then now proactive. Similarly, it gives you access to opportunities and build your reputation and motivate others to do business with you. And through the value you create, you then build a community around you. Now, why do you need LinkedIn, and why should you use LinkedIn to build a personal brand? um, Initially we had wanted to make a poll to know how many of you uses LinkedIn and how active or passive you are. However, I don't know, we couldn't do that. But the reason why you need LinkedIn is that,
Sorry, Lukumano, we have one here in a link, so everyone can reply in the link that I just sent in the chat if they use LinkedIn and if it's often if they have a profile or not, so we can know more about this.
okay, so then I will continue, but maybe we will then kind of compare the results as and when it's ready. So LinkedIn has 660, or sorry, over 660 million users, and these users do not come online just for coming online sake. However, they come to consume valuable content, and statistics show that there is 9 billion content engagement a week on LinkedIn. And the most interesting thing is only 3 million people create those content. So for you to stand out, it becomes easier because 9 billion a week content engagement and 3 people standing out. You can also become one of those 3 million. So, and through share, through creating, through kind of being active, creating content and so on, you gain brand visibility, and then it makes it easier to stand out. And through that, it gives you a lot of opportunities that I'll come to. LinkedIn also gives you access to hidden jobs. There is statistics which say 70 to 80% of jobs in Finland are never advertised. And remember, statistics also show that when there's an open role, 40% of people have reference. So if you apply and you don't have a reference, or you are not networked, there will be the possibility of even getting an interview is will be low, to be very honest. Therefore, it is very, very important to use LinkedIn. And LinkedIn also gives you access to work, is to help. Why? Because it depends on how you use it. If you are someone who are active and engaging, trust me, when you need help, people will help you. I know a lot of people who have, I mean, kind of shared their stories and what they are going through, and people have helped them on that platform, and so on. Or someone can just be can just resonate with your content and try to also create value for you, just because she has had some he or she has had some value from from your content. And I'm giving a typical example. Through my post on LinkedIn, someone wrote to me that, hey, I came across your LinkedIn post and I like your energy and ideas. And then we exchanged message. And then through that, if you look at the last message, she wrote that, um, thank you for your reply. I am curious whether you have done any sales related work before or will be interested in B2B sales in the field of education. We are looking for two B2B sales representatives to join our team. What do you think? So this is just an example. If you are active and you create content which kind of about your industry, about your passion, or about what you are learning, it gives that brand visibility to the extent that prospective employers and so on get to know who you are and would love to um, um, offer you a job. I don't believe this job was posted elsewhere. The person who is the founder of that company wants these people, and she believes, due to my activities on LinkedIn, I can do that job. So it can land. You can just get a job through that. Similarly, one a person one Finnish man wrote to me that he has resonated with something that I wrote on LinkedIn. Therefore, whenever I'm coming to Helsinki, I should feel free to pass by for us to have, like, I can pass by on, I can meet him at his studio or visit his studio, so we have like a conversation, and he would love to, give me some like shots. That is, he's a photographer. He would love to give me some shots for my profile picture, meaning that um my post created some value for him, and he wanted to return the value by trying to kind of offer me this opportunity, because since maybe he believes my profile picture could be nice if he kind of give me some shots. So these are some of the access to help and access to hidden jobs when you use LinkedIn and use it very well. And then again, it gives you access to referral and network, access to network and referral. There is one thing you need to know. In this era, CV alone does not guarantee you a job, just like your certificate alone will not guarantee you a job. You need to do extra work. And as I said, in Finland, your network is your net worth. That is that kind of a quote people use, and it's true. You need to have a strong network, and this strong network can then refer you to relevant people who will then kind of consider to hire you. And a typical example of how this has also led to, there was I'm showing you these practical examples for you to have interest in using LinkedIn and using it better. And if you use it better, it's you get these kind of opportunities that I'm showing you. Just like this brief kind of exchange shows how my interaction with someone on LinkedIn who is my network, you know, had had wanted to just recommend me for someone who is a hiring manager, and this will then increase my opportunity, or maybe my chances of even getting an interview at least. So this is very, very important that um, you consider all these. Moving on, to build a personal brand, you need to, my can you see my slide? Okay, good. You need to first assess yourself, to know your strengths, your passion, what you can do, and these will help you to carve a niche as to what to the value you will then create for people you want to build a community. So ask yourself, if you are not able to ask your friends what do they think you are good at, analyze yourself, and then through that you can use that to carve a niche. And then um, of course we are going to use LinkedIn as our online identity. And then finally, you have to create insightful and value adding content, and there should be consistency in it, and should be cohesive. So through that, there's this framework by adapted from Francisca. It was a speech by this LinkedIn icon, Dr. Natalia, which gives you kind of a framework as to how you could position yourself on LinkedIn. So you position yourself, you become a content creator, then through that you can convert people who kind of resonate with you, and so on. So this is just a framework. Then we go on to talk about how you can optimize your LinkedIn profile. This is very, very important. So to do that, you first of all need to have a very good profile picture, and you add a relevant cover photo which kind of depicts your brand, and you customize the headline to drop a proposition. For instance, if you're a student at Tampere University or a student at Alto University, don't just write on your headline as student at this. It doesn't help. You try to write what you aspire to be. So maybe I'm studying strategic business development. So you look at some of the careers in that kind of program and the one you feel you can do. Then you write it there. Maybe I'll write strategic business developer. Or if you are into marketing, you write marketing or marketer, but which kind of marketing? So be specific, because it is a gold mine, or a kind of a platform to sell yourself. So you write that kind of headline that would draw that proposition, where if hiring managers are searching for you, are searching for such type of people, they can see you. Similarly, I will give you an example of some kind of standout profile, like Jonathan Yavier. Look at look at how he has written the headline, CEO and founder of OneSalt, and then he writes some of the companies he has worked for, and especially because they are big names, so he wrote them, and then came to write the value he adds to people, so turning underdogs into winners. This is the value he adds. So you need to tell people or prospect of the value you add to them. And then Dr. Natalia says that she helps people build their brand, and if you want to grow your ad-free LinkedIn marketing and lead generation, she will help you. And then look at Austin. First, look at the profile picture, look at the cover photo, all kind of have some kind of correlation. And then he has added some companies he has featured in. It tells you who he is and what kind of things he does. And then look at the headline. He says, I help people land jobs without applying online. So if you need help with a job search, let's talk. So he tries to tell you what he does and the value he creates for people. So it is very good that you spend some time to build your LinkedIn, to optimize your LinkedIn profile, because that helps people to, I mean, potential recruiters or employers to see you and then kind of engage you. Then you also need to customize your LinkedIn URL. Don't leave it random. Make sure that it is customized to kind of have a relation with your name and so on. Just an example like this, you can see linkedin.com/ maybe your name plus some numbers or some figures. But if you spend time to, I mean, customize it to your real name, it helps. Then make sure you let recruiters know that you are also open for to work. then for me not to spend time and then go to relevant this, and if you really want to build your profile or kind of optimize it well, you should visit these links: Austin Belcock's Cultivated Culture, and then you can download a guideline by Julius Salorenko, and I believe you get the slice and you get all these links to able to access them access them. So if you are using LinkedIn, there are certain deadly sins you should not commit. If you really want to use LinkedIn and use it well, don't commit these mistakes. Like default connection request, it doesn't help. So if you really want to connect with people, make sure you have personalized a message to tell them you want to connect and give them a reason. And then don't send spammy messages, don't lock down your profile, don't criticize people or comment negatively, and then do not ask people you don't know to endorse you. It doesn't help. So let's go to how you can network on LinkedIn using LinkedIn. As I said, LinkedIn is a professional platform that people come there for a reason and to consume content. People also come there to network and to network with people who are relevant in one way or the other. Therefore, for you to network with people easily, you need to give them a reason to network with you. So one thing that I've learned which works is you need to look at commonalities as to how that person you are trying to network, the similarities you have, and how you can use that to, personalize a message. So, for instance, you can start connecting with your alumni. It helps because you may have two commonalities. Either you have studied at the same school, and two, you have studied the same program. So at least you may have one commonality and you can use that to kind of connect with them. So you can do that by visiting your school's kind of LinkedIn page, and then you go to alumni. You see all the alumni in the school, or all the alumni who are even working at a particular company you may be interested in, because you see all the names of the companies as well. So you can start to connect with them by personalizing an invite. And how you can do that is just a typical example. Hi, my name is, then you write, then you tell them you are an international student studying this program, and then you realize they are an alumnus and study the same program, and it will be great to connect with them. With these two commonalities, at least they may consider to connect with you. And when you get this opportunity to connect with them, make sure you create conversation, and then this conversation should be in a way that you can create value for them. So you ask about their challenges, either uh, their personal challenges at work, or maybe you ask about their routines at work and so on, and either in their department as well, or even as a company in general. And now that there is COVID, you can ask a lot of questions about how this pandemic has affected their daily routines and or their other activities in general. And then it gives you an idea of the company, and you can use that to um, create and build relationship if you create value after listening. And similarly, you can also create connections with guest speakers. I believe that almost all your schools, or maybe in some courses in your program, in your course outlines, teachers tell you that in this week we may have a guest lecture, and maybe they will give the name of the guest lecturer. Try to always in advance connect with the guest lecturer. That is what I've been doing, and it helps a lot. Remember that these guest lecturers are either hold some relevant positions at certain companies. So when they come to speak to you, it's easier to build that kind of connection with them. So normally what I do is I I I connect with them in advance by telling them that oh, my name is this and I stated that, and we have you as a guest lecturer in this kind of program, sorry, in this course. So I can't wait to hear your lecture. So when you do this, the person will be compelled to, accept it. And make sure that when the person is about to start, or maybe before the day of this of the event, make sure you've researched about the person to know who he really is and what he likes and so on. Then through that, you can even ask certain correlated question relating to how his life is and what he has to talk about. Example is this: how I try to create a very good connection with someone who is a who came as a guest lecturer in one of our course. And through that, it has kind of created a very good relationship with us, and we are building and continue to build upon it. Similarly, if you have listened to other guest lecturers and you haven't reached them yet, you can also kind of write to them after their guest lecture, and then tell them what resonated with you during the guest lecture. So, for instance, or it can either be a networking event. I attended a networking event, and I I listened to one speech by someone, Johanna, and after that, I wrote to her that I was resonated with her speech and her tips, you know. So I just said it after kind of in conclusion, I said that I would love to meet her one day and then have a conversation with her. She replied me the following day, telling me that we can meet at this time and that time. And I realized that opportunity, and I made sure that when I went to meet her, we spoke in depth, and I asked about certain relevant questions, and he gave me some guides. And this has built a very strong relationship between me and her, and it continues to grow. And who knows, this can lead the way to other things you may need in the future. So these are some of the ways you could kind of create conversation and so on. Similarly, if you really want to connect with industry players, you really have to work hard. You need to research about them because they really don't know you. So you have to give them a reason to. So one way I do is, if I really want to connect with someone who is very relevant, I research about them. So for instance, you can write that, oh, um, you introduce yourself and tell them that you can either read about a certain article they've written or an interview they were granted, and some of the things they said which you like resonated with you. Then you tell them in the kind of personalized kind of message that, oh, you read about their recent article on this title, and it will be great to connect with them. When they accept your connection request, thank them, and then create a conversation where you would love to kind of talk about some of the relevant things he or she said in the interview or the article, you know. And this can even give an opportunity to have a virtual coffee with the person, and in a way you can tell them who you are as well. They get to know you, and you build a relationship from there. So this is a typical example of someone who is a president of of I wouldn't want to mention it, okay, of a unit, and in a particular company, you know. And I searched about her. I really wanted to connect to her. I searched about her, and I realized that she was named as one of the 100 most influential women in Finnish companies. And I used that to personalize a message, and she accepted. And now we have had a very good communication since then, and it is beginning to, bear fruit. These are some of the ways you can use to, network. So I once wrote a LinkedIn post which is so relevant, and I learned it from a lot of like some influencers. And it says that if you really want to get to realize your job here in Finland, you really have to work hard, and you can do that through networking. This networking is such that you need to at least target 10 to 15 companies, and for you not to lose control, you need to just keep track by creating a spreadsheet. Then you research about these people and then try to connect with them like I've shown you. And then you try to engage their content as well if they're on LinkedIn, and you create a conversation. This helps, and they begin to tell you or give you certain information about what is going on in the company. And remember that it's as students, it's your the likelihood of, I mean, getting access to certain jobs which are advertised, it's hard than when you have created a very good connection with people at relevant positions. They may even hire you without even needing an interview. Therefore, these are some of the tricks that will help you, especially as a student. Now that we are in a COVID era, so moving on, one way to also stand out is to create content. And I know a lot of people worry about content creation, but the reason why you should create content is that it helps you, it makes you authentic, and um, you are able to boost your profile and easily get noticed. I've had certain posts on LinkedIn which has reached almost about 70,000 people. I've had certain posts which have reached 50,000 people and which have even increased my network, and people want to engage with me and call me for certain events and so on, or they decide to send me certain information I wouldn't have gotten. All is because I created a content that was of value to them, and they believe they would want to exchange that value by creating a value for me too. Similarly, one thing that I've realized from a lot of people who are students, especially, that they believe they don't have the expertise to create content. And you don't need to be a master to start creating content. You can learn from books, you can learn from experts and so on. And you don't also have to worry about likes. Just write what you can write, and then try to just make sure it's valuable. Post it. Those who will see it, and those who will see it and make value out of it will then will get that kind of value. So all you need to do is to have the desire to learn, to improve, and to grow, and take inspiration from little things. These little things are what you can use to create content. And again, if you really want to carve out content, you can do that from your unique stories. And especially as international students, you have unique stories with your background, how you came to Finland, how you are able to kind of make it, or maybe become successful or succeed in a difficult journey. These helps you to create unique stories, and when you post them, it's kind of encourage people, motivate people, and so on. You can also reflect on things that you've learned from experts or influencers. You can share key takeaways from relevant events like this networking event, or guest lectures, or group assignments. Remember, this is very key, especially when you share um, take key takeaways from either group assignments. It tells recruiters or your network what you have learned. It tells them the skills you have attained, and the soft skills through the soft skills or interaction you had in the group assignment. So it makes you like someone who can work in a team. So kind of utilize the group assignments you used to do, and if it's relevant, try to kind of carve a content out of this. Oh, for instance, in our cross cultural management course, we were grouped into different nationalities, where we had to do this and do that, and through this um, uh, assignment, I was able to, I mean, know about the culture of these people and that people, and how they respond to this and that. All in all, we learned to make the project a success because of our communication. So you write something to show the skills, the soft skills you learned, and the overall hard skill. Also, you can also share key takeaways from guest lecturers or guest lectures. Then you write, summarize it, and then tag them. And I believe they will also engage those things. And when they engage, remember, they are already in the industry, or they are working for a company. Those who are their connections are likely to see the post. and they may also engage. You can also capitalize on that to reconnect with those who are not your first connections. So you can personalize the message again and thank them for liking your post and introduce yourself to them. And then they can also become part of your network and networking events as well. You can do that and then kind of refer or maybe reference guest speakers, and it helps. One thing is in networking is you give and you get. So don't always create content and leave it. Make sure that you engage your content and engage the content of others. You know, read, like, and leave insightful comments on others' posts, especially those that are relevant. Not everyone, those relevant content. And then when people kind of reply or comment on your post, make sure you reply to them. It's very, very important, because if someone has spent time to read your post, try to appreciate the person's effort by replying to the post, by replying to the person's comment if necessary, or kind of react to it, and that helps. And then one thing also to maximize your chances, or to maximize your visibility, is joining groups like alumni groups, industry specific groups, and you share some of your relevant content there. And you also need to avoid this other irrelevant content. Contribute in group content and leave insightful comments. It also helps you stand out and you build better relationship there. So in conclusion, I would like to say that building an online presence is hard work, but worth your while. Aston Helen once said that as you invest in yourself and your personal brand, it becomes a catalyst which that continues to open doors to new opportunities for you now and in the future. And a typical example, and I'll urge you all to start building your online presence now. So you can find me on LinkedIn, Lukman Idrisu. Try to connect with me. But well, for students, I don't mind if you send me a direct request. I will accept, but don't do that to any other person you don't know. Anyone you would love to connect, please introduce yourself, personalize the message, tell them the reason you want to connect with them, and they will, I believe, there will be a higher rate of you being accepted. So I'd like to thank you all for this session, and I will be glad to answer your questions. Okay, I tried to make it brief and concise. LinkedIn has, I think on desktop you have about 2,000 characters, but remember, if you with my experience really, I use like a kind of a framework. Your first paragraph should be catchy enough to force the reader to continue to read. So I always make sure my first paragraph is catchy enough, and then the body will then tell the story a bit, and then the conclusion will then leave a call to action. So it's like a 3-step framework that I use, and this these helps in engagement, whether it's likes or um or comment. And the more people engage with your content, the more it's reach a lot of people. So I cannot really give how long you should write, but I can only practically tell you it should be as brief and concise as possible. But make sure that your first two sentences, or even your first paragraph, is catchy enough for someone to click see more. Because if someone can see your post and is reluctant to click to tap on the see more, especially when he or she is using a mobile phone. So make sure that the first 2 sentences or the first paragraph is compelling enough, is attractive enough to do that.
what advice would you give to people?
As an international student, I have faced this before. The reason why I couldn't realize my career goals during my bachelor studies was the same story. You know, you have this part-time job that will help you survive, as an international student, especially those of us coming from Africa and Asia. We really need some support in a way. So right after schooling hours, you are going to your other part-time job, either be it cleaning, um, dishwashing, or any other kind of menial job that will support you. But that if you really want to realize your career goal, you have to fix that time for networking in your schedule. It's either now it's even kind of easy. Ask me why. Everything is happening online, and lectures are even recorded. So you can skip a lecture and then go for an event, and later you come and watch a video and read slides. It's okay. You don't have to really attend the lecture. So I think COVID era is even a blessing in a way to network. And now you don't even have to go to networking events where there are crowded people that you can't even get access to certain people. But now it's even easier that in networking they have opened this what we call like they create certain like let me use Coca-Cola Material example. Coca-Cola Material Week had a networking event where they created a platform aside the main speaking event for people to meet the industry players. So you just click and then they look at your profile and those people who are relevant to you, then you can select them and kind of have a personal meeting with them. And I use that to have to meet a lot of people, like 3 or 4, who give me relevant information going on in the industry and in their companies. So I think this COVID era makes it easier for you to even meet the people and kind of arrange special face-to-face meeting to meet them. So I'll say that just try to create the time for yourself, and it will help kind of realize your goal. Recommendation is something that is not given easily. It is never given easily. And it's not everybody who can recommend you. You need to get people who are relevant to recommend you. So remember, as University of Applied Sciences or universities, you I don't know, in University of Applied Sciences, we used to work with companies. They come to us, then they give us a project, then we work with them, right? I don't know whether you do that in your schools. If you tend to do that in your school, you can use that to carve a recommendation. The people relevant for the project come to you, they present to you about the project. Make sure you have added them on LinkedIn. So when you add them on LinkedIn, uh, after the project or during the project, make sure your group have done something good. So when you are done with the project and your group, in a way, kind of have the best among the rest, you can write a recommendation to the person who was responsible for the project, saying that, oh, in our group, maybe for instance, in our marketing research course, we were we worked with so and so in this particular project. In this in the course of the project, we were able to interact with each other on this, on that. And through this project, I was able to learn this and learn that and learn that. I would love to thank so and so for the opportunity and what they gave. I mean, the opportunity they gave us to exhibit our skills and talent and the lessons learned from this project. If you write this and send it to the person, trust me, the person will be inclined to also kind of give you back a recommendation. So it's like a give and get, a give to get. But make sure you have done something tangible. Don't just expect it, but make sure you've worked for it. So these are one way I use to get recommendations. And you can also do that. You can also get recommendations from your bosses or people you are working with currently. So recommendations are very sensitive. One thing I can also say is with the skills on your LinkedIn profile, try to always um, update it and get people to endorse you and you endorse them. So you can use your classmates to endorse you, or maybe if you have mates who have worked in a particular group, write the skills you attained or gained from the group, from the course or group work. Write it on your LinkedIn profile. Let your friends endorse you, endorse your friends too. Because when recruiters are searching a particular kind of skill, if you the more endorsement you have on that particular skill, the easier you appear on their list. So it is very important as well. Skills and recommendation.